Hey, you guys. It is Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. We're going to make dinner. I've moved the time back a little bit because we had chiropractor appointments for our whole family and didn't get home till like 20 minutes ago. So definitely wasn't going to make the 5:15 typical class. So tonight we're going to be making a really fast recipe, which is why I love it, out of my cookbook. If you haven't ordered this yet, the link is down below. But we are making green chili chicken casserole, okay? I'm going to twist it just a little bit because usually I make this as a casserole and I follow the directions exactly that are in some cookbook. But tonight I'm going to make it more like a dip because we're going to eat this with chips. So you wouldn't necessarily have to eat this with chips. I've served it with vegetables as sides and it's more GAPS friendly. But tonight we're going to do chips for our family because Mama's had a really crazy day. I'll show you guys the crazy day. My house is just crazy. Oh, I am doing big batch cooking for me to be gone this weekend. And so cooking is everywhere in my house and a cooking mess is everywhere in my house. So that's what's happening. I'm going to go ahead and angle the camera down and we're going to get started here, okay? This is going to be really fast. It's a fast recipe. So I have a 13x9 pan. This one's a deep one, okay? Because I am going to add an extra ingredient tonight because I want to make it kind of a little bulkier since we're just going to have this with chips. Super easy meal. So we're going to go ahead and get out our lard. You could use tallow, goose fat, duck fat, butter, ghee, any of those things, coconut oil. And I'm just going to lard up my pan, sides and all, because this does burn rather easily. Okay. Just going to lard it on up. Okay, next step is to put some cooked chicken in the bottom of this pan. Thank you so much for pressing the thumbs up. That's awesome. It does help a lot to get my videos out, and I do not make any money. I've never been monetized on YouTube, so all of my videos are free. So when you hit that thumbs up button, it gets out to more people. So the recipe calls for 6 cups of cooked chicken. You could use like rotisserie chicken. Leftover turkey is really good in this as well. I got to look out for bones because I had kids go through this meat earlier today. But I'm just chopping it up into smaller pieces. This meat came off of whole chickens that I cook down and I make broth. And, we save the broth and then we go ahead and take the meat off of the carcass as well. So the big pieces are usually still big pieces because the kids try to go through quickly. In fact, this morning, Graceland and Bethany were doing it for me and they were complaining about, oh man, we do chicken again, because I've just been cooking the chickens down like crazy. And then just putting them in 1 gallon freezer bags and freezing them so that we're ready for baby. All right, so this is 4 cups, I think. Yep, 4 cups. So we need 2 more cups. And this is an extra deep 13x9 pan. I'm just going to repeat that one more time. If you follow the recipe to an exact T out of the cookbook, you'll just need a 13x9 pan. But because I'm going to add some other ingredients, I need a bigger pan. And like I said, I'm going to make the sauce a little bit more of a creamy sauce because we're going to be eating this with some chips. Oh, there's another bone. Found another one. Quality control. It's kind of a joke now at our house. Like when you go to eat chicken, it's like, oh, am I going to find a toenail or am I going to find, what am I going to find? I cooked down some geese a couple of days ago and that was pretty funny because those feet apparently we didn't get the nails off of. So when we went in to make broth, we had nails floating in our broth. Okay, so 2 more cups. That makes a total of 6 cups of cooked chicken. And yes, I'm leaving the skins in. I just cut them up in a smaller piece. So hopefully they slide by my food inspectors. Okay, that's it for the chicken. Super easy. wash my hands real quick. We're going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to double check that it's empty because I've had one crazy day. It is empty. Okay. Pick some chicken up off of the stove. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to add to this is actually beans. I have soaked and fermented and now cooked some Great Northern beans. So they're a little bit bigger than the navy bean. But Azure Standard has these for a little bit cheaper than a navy bean. So I'm just going to kind of top off my deeper casserole dish with beans. So depending on how deep your casserole dish is depending on how many beans you add if you choose to do this. When I first started cooking, I didn't even know until probably about 2 years ago, there was a difference. There were so many white beans out there. Thought they were all navy beans. But they are not. So, I cooked a bunch of these up because, like I said, I'm making meals ahead for the whole weekend. For the people who are going to be watching our children while we have our little getaway. And I wanted them to not have to worry about cooking. So I'm cooking up beans so I can make soups and such. Just add them to the soups. Okay. So this has beans now on top of it. They're nice and soft because they've already been Instant Pot cooked. So what the directions say into the cookbook is we would just be adding our rest of our ingredients, which is typically cream cheese and sour cream and cheddar cheese and some seasonings. But I'm going to, like I said before, make this into a more creamy sauce because we're going to be eating this with chips. So on the back burner here, I have, move my pan out of the way so you guys can see. So what I'm going to do, we're going to warm it up along with, and we're going to add one more ingredient, and then it'll be nice and more like a dip. So we're looking for 2 cups of sour cream. I love Nancy's sour cream. So 2 cups equals 16 ounces, so it's a whole container. I'm going to go ahead and turn this burner over medium heat. You don't want to do high because you actually can burn sour cream. I've learned it the hard way. And it is really hard to scrub it off your pans. Next ingredient is 2 4-ounce cans of diced green chilies. These are my homemade diced green chilies, and one of these big jars equals 2 cans. Now, just in case you're afraid of spice and you've never tried green chilies, they are not really that spicy. They add a ton of flavor to your food, so don't be afraid to try this recipe with the green chilies. The next ingredient is 1 pound of cream cheese. This is my homemade goat chev cheese. It's a lot like cream cheese. And I just use them interchangeably at this point because we have goats and we have a lot of goat milk and we make cheeses out of it. So I'm just going to keep stirring this because you really don't want it to burn to the bottom. And public service announcement, if there's kid noise in this video, it's because my house is all connected now. I have one big house instead of 2 separate ones, which makes it so that the kids, you can hear them playing and such. So just in case that happens, our cooking classes may be a little bit louder than normal. I'm going to go ahead and add a 1/2 cup of milk to the pan. And then depending on how dry your cream cheese is, you might have to add more. Chev from a goat is a pretty dry cream cheese, so I might have to add more. We'll just have to see here. And each batch is different for me because I'm making it. Okay, next ingredient is 1/2 teaspoon of healthy salt. So you want any sort of colored salt, pink Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt, real salt, all really good salts. Anything with color is what you need. Next ingredient is cumin. We need 1 teaspoon. I'm just, so it's not even open yet. Let me see if I have an open one. I've been stocking up on spices. Here we go. Azure Standards cumin. Look at the size difference, you guys. Just for reference, when you guys are on Azure Standard buying groceries for cooking, the one Azure Standard bottle is so much bigger, okay, than like the full circle you get at the grocery store. $6.25. So there's actually double the amount in weight in the Azure Standard one versus the one from the store. So it's a good deal. Okay, this is starting to bubble. But I'm thinking that due to my dry goat cheese, I'm going to add another 1/2 cup of milk. If you're not going to serve this with chips, you sure could just skip the milk and just pour it right over the chicken. Okay. This will not leave me alone. All right. On with the cumin. So for the cumin, we need 1 teaspoon. And like I said, this recipe is in my recipe book on page 107. If you haven't ordered my recipe book yet, go ahead. I just got a huge shipment of them, so they're going to be ready to ship. The link is down in the description box below. Okay. This is like super creamy. So what we're looking for is for that cream cheese just to be melted, everything to be well incorporated, no clumps left. That cream cheese was softened. I had left it at room temperature all day today. So it was nice and soft already to begin with. The oven is preheating at 350 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and bring our 13x9 pan with the chicken and the Great Northern beans over here. And I'm just going to mix this right on in. Yum! I love anything with cream cheese, but you start adding a little subtle spice and look out, I'll eat the whole pan. Especially when I'm pregnant. My poor babies, they get their taste buds burned right off before they're even born. All right, this baby, though, doesn't seem to get the hiccups when I eat spice, so that's been really interesting. Maybe it'll be the only kid that I don't raise. All right, so I'm just going to mix this up. And like I said, and if you just jumped on, make sure you lard your pan because this is the meal that will definitely burn the sides. Okay. I had to get to probably about 1.5 pounds of chicken, just in case anyone's curious as to a per pound breakdown. And then I probably had, okay, there it is. Now we're going to go ahead and put the cheese on the top. This is non-raw organic sharp cheddar, I believe, but you could use mild if you'd like. I just buy whatever is in stock at Azure Standard. It's basically the only place I can buy organic cheeses that are in a 5-pound block. And I try just to get my groceries once a month because you save more money that way by buying in bulk. And so whatever's in stock, if it's sharp, we get sharp. If it's mild, it's mild. Whatever works. Also, Azure Standard sells pepper jack cheese. I think it's Monterey Jack, maybe. That would be really, really good on this if you like spice. And this last little bit, I'm just going to cut up. I have a habit when I go to hand grade my cheeses of grating my fingers into it. So I always stop when there's a little bit of a clump left so I don't grade my fingers into my food. Okay, there it is. Now, this is pretty, but I think we need a little something. So what I'm going to do, a little bit of glitter here, and then I'm going to just sprinkle some chili powder on top because it'll make it look pretty when you pull it out of the oven. Okay, so this is going to bake at 350 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. It depends on the size of your dish, but everything in here is basically just has to melt together. It's all cooked. The chicken's already cooked. So in it goes. And then I'm going to show you guys something else I discovered this week. So I'll bring you back to home base here. Okay, so check this out. So a lot of you guys know that I've started to get into water bath canning a lot of things. And this week I had a question come in from somebody who's new to the channel about fermenting beans and about being able to can them. So you can can them. I have a whole video up here on how to can them, but also I think the person might be a little bit confused because they were saying that you can't can dry beans, but you can if they're not fermented. At least in America you can. And there's no way that botulism is going to survive in a fermenting type scenario. So botulism's off the table. Those concerns are off. So I'm getting around to my point. So usually I pressure can my beans. And this is what they look like when they're done. Okay. This is Great Northern beans with cooking liquid that has been pressure canned. I always get this white stuff. Something happens to the beans. It happens with black beans I pressure can. It happens with kidney beans where they get this thick. It's not thick when it comes out of the canner, but as it cools, it thickens, okay? So this week I was making up a ton of canned beans and meals in jars for after baby. And I decided I was just gonna water bath them like the Amish do. And I want you guys to look. This is the same beans in their cooking liquid. Isn't that crazy? Which one would you rather eat? This keeps happening to me. I'm not intentionally trying to encourage anyone to go against the recommendations and the whatevers. But this is in your face once again. One thing is being cooked to death. One thing is not. So anyway, that was interesting, and it makes me not want to eat these now, just like my corn that's on the shelf that you used to pressure can as well. But that was fascinating. So, definitely in my face that I'd rather water bath a lot of things. Oh, I know what else I was going to talk about were these. It has cheese on it from a recipe, but my mom, very, very loving person, giving person, gave me some of these plates. And so I just wanted to talk about these plates. They are beautiful. They're from Pioneer Woman, Walmart. But please do yourself a favor before you start using plates or really anything that you're going to eat off of or cook with. You need to do research into the ingredients of what's in these. And this is melamine, which a lot of people grab for these. I would love to use these. I would love to use these because I have concrete floors inside my house and I have toddlers and young children. And when they drop normal plateware, it falls to the ground and shatters. Whereas if they were to drop this, it would not. Also, this doesn't really show scratches. There are a lot of pluses. But if you research into melamine, there are actual lab tests from people who have eaten hot foods off of these. And the melamine is in their urine within 2 hours of eating off of a plate or a bowl made out of melamine. It's actually already in their urine by then. So they're pretty toxic. So look around your house, start researching into things you're eating off of. So we just use these for cold things. Like I put cheese on it tonight, so it wouldn't have leached anything. Cold sandwiches you could eat off of this fine. Desserts that are cold, perfect plate for that. But anything that's warm would be dangerous to eat off of these. So I just want to put that out there. I'm still going to keep them because they're beautiful and I can use them for some of our foods. But this is just a warning that everything that's sold into the store, just because it's a plate, does not mean it's safe. So make sure you do your own research and look into what your stuff is made out of. Okay. Other than that, I snagged a new chopper because mine broke. So I just bought a new chopper at Walmart. Because I'm going to be doing some prep meals for freezer meals for before baby or after baby. And I wanted to be able to chop onions and stuff quickly instead of chopping them by hand. So I bought a new one of these. And I had gotten some freezer bags and a few other things, some paper plates for the weekend. So that is dinner. That was so easy, wasn't it, you guys? It's very, very quick. We've only been here 20 minutes. Dinner's already into the oven. I've got chips to go with it, but like I said, you could totally eat this with, I put green beans inside this casserole. It's really good. You could serve it with vegetables. You could take the beans out if you want and just have the chicken and the cream cheese yumminess. All good options. So, it's a quiet night. Nobody's on at 6 because usually I'm here at 5:15. So, I guess I'm going to run, guys. That was my dinner. I've got to go. I've got to get this broth here inside the, well, right there, into the fridge. And all of these jars here are all fermenting beans. I need to go get them rinsed, drained, put in freezer bags, put into the freezer. And I got to start cleaning because tomorrow is my huge cooking day for the meals, the rest of the meals, for when we're going to be gone. So anyway, thanks so much for jumping on, you guys, and enjoy the replay. And I will see you guys hopefully next week. It'll probably be at least Sunday before I get the pre-scheduled event, unless I do it tonight, because we're going on vacation. So I won't be around and I won't be thinking about YouTube. So anyway, you guys take care and I'll see you guys next week.